Hello everyone and welcome back to the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup. It is time for some amazing weekend of racing. But first of all, we've got to set the grid, and that's exactly what we're here to do across 30 minutes. We cannot wait for this one to get going. We are around a circuit that runs in total to 4.3 kilometers, and we have 2.6 miles coming up, 18 laps for the race tomorrow. And it's going to be exciting. 10 turns, some of which the drivers don't really worry about. Race lap record belongs to Leon Kohler, and that was set in 2021. And these are amazing pictures. These are amazing scenes as well. And we cannot wait to see what this has in store. They're all lined up at the end of the pit lane, and they are ready to get going in a couple of moments' time, as we are going to await the green light at the end of the pit lane, and the drivers will make their way out onto the circuit. So it is round number 4 of the season. We are getting ready to hit the halfway mark. We of course started our season at Imola. We then journeyed our way down into Monaco, and then we went to the challenge, a return to the Barcelona circuit as well. We've got the green light flying at the end of the pit lane, and the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup is underway for its 30 minutes of qualifying. They will all make their way out, kind of similar to what Formula 2 and Formula 3 do. If this is the first time you are watching the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup, it is great to have you with us. And if you are a regular, welcome back. We are here every single round for you, with qualifying, delayed coverage of that, and the races live. And they are of course always held after the Formula 3 and Formula 2 action, which we cannot wait as well for. So it's an action-packed weekend. No Porsche Supercup this time, heading over to Silverstone, which is in a week's time. Instead, we will have the British F4 Championship, which you can find on JB Motorsports as well. We usually cover the British F4 Championship through our touring car streams, but we'll actually be commentating it and broadcasting it like we do with this series, like we do with Formula 2, and like we do with the FIA Formula 3 Championship as well. This session taking place in between the FIA Formula 3 sprint race and the F1 practice 3 session that will be coming up next here around the Red Bull Ring circuit. We have the cars out there, we have the drivers out there on the circuit. If you have not been able to follow the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup so far this season, let's bring you up to date with what you have missed. And can I just say, you have missed a lot, because we went over and started our season at Imola. A great battle for pole position, which was taken by Theo Overhouse. It was a brilliant way to take pole position. The lights went out, the season begun on the Sunday, and we had a pile-up. We had so many drivers out, and we had the red flags called, and a slightly shortened race as well by a couple of laps. In the end, it was Theo Overhouse who emerged victorious for Proton Huber competition, as they took the checkered flag first. That was one of your main highlights. There was plenty of battling further back in the mid-pack in that race. Imola being a hard circuit to overtake meant that there was no challenge in the front for Overhouse, who had it well controlled. With it being a triple header, we only had to wait one single week till we returned, and not only 1 week, we returned 1 day early with the Porsche Supercup in practice, with it being on Thursday of course. And it was a very interesting day, with the circuit momentarily even being blocked. That's how chaotic practice was. We went into qualifying, which of course we brought to you here live on JB Motorsports, and we found ourselves with Robert Dehaan taking that pole position on the streets of Monte Carlo. He will be chasing pole once again today, and it was a race which the lights went out on that Sunday. It was already a dramatic day. If we remember back to a few moments ago, before that Porsche Supercup race started, we had a red flag and we had a pile-up in FIA Formula 2, which blocked the circuit. That is what took place about an hour before the Porsche Supercup got underway. And we had then the lights go out, Dehan get away well, and we were to another Porsche Supercup pile-up. Similar to what we had in 2021, this time it was in 2025, and it was similar to the Formula 2 one, but it just a few meters later on, and it was Marvin Klin who was spun around in that one. He was involved in both pile-ups, by the way, in Imola and in Monaco. No fault of his own, but he was involved in both of them. So that meant that the recovery job was major, and it meant that we had a race that ran only to 3 laps in total. Only 3 laps of racing in the Super Cup, and it was a dramatic day, and it was an unfortunate day for lots, but it was still Robert Dehan who came away with a few points that were handed out that day as well. Then, guess what? It was a triple header, so we had another week of action. We didn't have to wait long, did we? We had another week of amazing racing, of amazing action, and we will talk to you about that in a couple of moments' time. But first of all, we are going to be able now to get to hear from one of our contenders in a few moments. I'll quickly finish off on this point. In Spain, Flint Schuring started the weekend by taking a pole position. It was a brilliant pole position for Flint Schuring, and it was an absolutely well-judged performance from him. The rookie started at the front of the field, but he would not maintain it for long. He was up against his teammate and he lost the lead down into turn number 1. And by the time we got to the checkered flag, his teammate, Alessandro Giretti, was the winner. There was plenty of battling all the way through the rest of the field, and it was an absolutely extraordinary race, an extraordinary contest, which was won in the end, as I mentioned, by Alessandro Giretti, who also was able to get himself to the fastest lap. And it means we've had 3 different teams to take pole positions in the opening 3 races. We've had 3 different drivers to take pole position in the opening 3 races, and we've had 3 different drivers to take the win, and 3 different teams to take the win as well. That is how competitive the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup has been so far. It has been one extraordinary campaign. We've had 3 races. We've had 3 races in 3 weeks. We've had about a month away, and we are back here at the Red Bull Ring for just the singular race. So we'll have this race, and then we'll go into a few weeks hiatus as we prepare and get ready for the action that is going to be coming our way in the amazing circuit of Spa. It's a circuit that has hosted some brilliant racing in the past, but Alexander Tauscher is here to talk to us about the season so far and this Red Bull Ring circuit.
For me, Spielberg is actually quite exciting. Firstly, the scenery, like the beautiful Austrian mountainside, is always special. Then coming to the racetrack itself, it's actually quite challenging. Doesn't look like it in the first moment, but it's a lot of uphill and downhill, and a lot of actually high speed and slow speed corners, so a good mixture. Lots of slipstream battles, and probably the most exciting races of the year.
Well, I mean, if we are in for the most exciting races of the year, bring it on! And I absolutely agree with that sentiment. I think that will be the case indeed. As someone, I think our FOM, momentarily completely messed up the audio there. Apologies for that one. I can only apologize for absolutely deafening you. That's not my fault. That is, whatever came through at FOM, luckily they controlled that well, so we didn't have to be deafened for too long. Right! We've got Kaz Havercourt making his way through, up towards the line, and it's a 1 minute 31.611 for the rest of the field to beat. Dehan goes up to 2nd place, and then you've got Jalbert into P3. Our timings, by the way, they are going to be updated as we see Alessandro Giretti, our most latest winner in the Super Cup, go to the top, only for a few moments, because now getting there is Huub van Eindhoven. Michele Ascona for the Hideka Racing team. A Hideka team which is right now sliding in the hands of Ascona through the final few corners, but a team which finds themselves new to the Porsche Super Cup and new to the championship. Jaap van Lagen goes to the top of the table by 8 thousandths. It was an extraordinary qualifying in Spain. It might just be the same thing here at Austria. A short circuit should lead to hopefully some close times by the end of it. The top 4 separated by under 600ths. That is how close it is in the Porsche Super Cup. Schuring making his way through. And he is going fastest of all right now in the middle sector. Flint Schuring, a driver who, of course, we mentioned his name in our season summary so far. He started on pole, so he knows how to take pole position. He, of course, didn't set it properly in terms of his lap time being what got him to the pole. It was penalties and lap time deletions for the drivers ahead. But that's what you need. Around a circuit like this where track limits will play a part, you need to be in contention. You need to find yourself to second, to third. Schuring does not want any of that. He wants to go to the top, and that is going to be the case. Schuring to the top, immediately displaced by 1,000 by Mathis Jalbert. So Jalbert gets ahead. So it's Jalbert, then it's Schuring, then it's Robert Dehaan, then it's Gueretti. Jaap van Lagen is in 5th. I can only apologise, by the way, for the live timings. The Porsche Supercup officially have, I think, changed some of their systems or something. And it means that, well, we don't have the position. So you only have the car numbers, but you don't have the positions, which is not helpful. So I know it can be slightly hard to identify. So I will do my best job that I can to keep you up to date with which driver is where at what moment. But yeah, I can only apologise. That's not my issue. It's not the way I've set up my thing. I went onto the live timing. I took a look in practice yesterday. It's just the way they've not given us the positions. So we're kind of having to do a bit of counting, I guess. Counting, of course. I've got it on the world feed pictures, but that's why I'm going to try and guide you through it as best as possible. Robert Dehaan's pushing on, and he's pushing his tyres into the gravel. That is how much he's pushing on. The Lechner Racing driver, the man who finds himself third in the championship. He started the season with a retirement. Robert Dehaan was involved in the pileup that we had to start the season at the Imola racetrack, which of course we will not be coming back to next year with the confirmation of it not being on the Formula 1 calendar. We are still waiting for the Porsche Supercup to announce where it will be journeying, where it will be taking place. We expect mostly the same rounds, but with Imola gone, could it be a trip to Madrid? It's a trip to P1 there for Robert Dehaan, as further back onto the grass goes Alessandro Gueretti, and it was a lap that could have got him to P1, but the moment where he went wide is going to cost him and mean that he won't be able to find the time there. So Dehaan has had a first, he's had a second so far this season. Let's take a look at a replay. This is Huub van Eindhoven, who was kicking up the gravel. You're going to see plenty of that. That was through the exit of turn 9 just before turn 10. And Wouter Camps in the number 22 was also following suit as well. So an interesting few moments in that. Just look at the gaps, look at the margins. By the time you see this on delayed coverage, Formula 1 qualifying would have been over. So, I mean, I don't know which session is, what do we call it? Which session is receiving the award for the closest. I've seen F3, I've seen F2, but I don't know what F1's going to deliver. So, deep breath, everybody. Tausch is making his way through to the end of the lap, the driver who we heard from earlier on. And he'll make his way into the final few corners on this circuit, up towards the line. And Tausch goes to 17th place. So he goes ahead of Verstappen, he goes ahead of Dirk Schouten, who's in 19th. And Dirk Schouten in the championship finds himself in 12th. He's had a best result of 6th. That was on the streets of Monaco. And he was the rookie winner in that race as well. He was the rookie winner, was Dirk Schouten. And talking about the rookie championship as well, we've got 4 drivers competing in that this year. Flint Schuring leads it on 27.5 points. The half point being due to what we had in Monaco. Yannis Diak is in 2nd. He's got 15.5 points. And then it's Schouten on 14. In 3rd, and Pietro Deliguranti is in 4th. Only 4 drivers in that, as I mentioned. The team's championship right now is led by GP Elite. They've got 80 points to their name, and they've been inside the top 10 in every single race this season with the 2 drivers. So a reminder to you that if a team like GP Elite has many drivers, as we take a look at a replay with Verstappen kicking up the gravel as well, running slightly wide and dipping his tyres into the gravel through turn 9, then on the exit of turn 10 as well. If a team has more than 2 drivers, then the 2 best results are the only ones that account to the team's championship. This is, of course, to make sure that it's fair and the right team wins, because it's important to remember that you have GP Elite with so many drivers, and then a team like Hideka Racing with only 2. So to make sure, and to be fair, I've only got 1 recorded for Hideka Racing as well so far. So it's important to remember that you've got to make sure that the standings are fair. So what Porsche Supercup do is that they basically take the best 2 results from that team to award it in the standings, because, I mean, how unfair is it if you have one team with 5 drivers, one with 2, one with 3, one with 4? It doesn't add up. So to make sure it's fair, we've got 2 of the best results taken from that specific team that has more than 2 drivers, and that is how they do it. So GP Elite, I mean, having more drivers is an advantage still, because, you know, we're not taking the result from the worst, we're not taking the result from the drivers who are not finding the great performances. It's on the 2 of the best, and they have 80 points to the name. Schumacher CLRT is in 2nd, Proton Huber Competition is in 3rd, as we take a look at Francesco Braschi, who had a bit of a lockup, arriving down to Remus at turn number 3, and we had a spin. Round we went with Pisani. So Ugiano Pisani, the number 33, went round there. The fans in the grandstands all sitting and watching as they prepare for their Formula 1 qualifying later on. Lots of them in support of Max Verstappen, of course, this weekend. But we've got plenty of Dutch drivers across this field in the Porsche Supercup for them to cheer on as well. And one of them is Dirk Schouten, the driver currently running in 18th. And he's 6.5 tenths away from the benchmark that is set by Robert Dehaene. So we're about to reach the halfway mark of this session. So the drivers arriving down into pit lane at the moment. But yeah, Pisani having the spin and continuing on. It's been a very interesting triple header to start our campaign. Unprecedented with the pileups that we've seen and the amount of drama, the contact. We're hoping that this can be the start of a bit of good, clean, quality racing, and not your usual pile-up stuff, because, of course, we don't want that. We want to be able to watch. We want to be able to see these drivers run wheel to wheel. We had a moment in Spain where Klin and Dehaene were battling down into turn 1. The 2 Lechner Racing teammates went for it. So imagine if that's the case once again. Jalbert is only 7 thousandths off the pace, is Matisse Jalbert at the moment. And this is a result that Jalbert will absolutely want, because he's a driver who's not had a single point scored this season. He had a retirement in Imola. He didn't start in Monaco. He didn't start in Catalonia either, in Spain, because of personal reasons, I believe it was. I think it was him being sick, so he wasn't with us. So this is a big opportunity for him, basically arriving onto the scene. So Jalbert, it's important to remember that Jalbert was with us in qualifying in Monaco. We covered him there. He was involved, I think, in a big shunt and a big crash. And then we found himself leaving and withdrawing for the rest of the weekend. As we hear the trackside commentary in the background, it is time for an interview.
Being here in Spielberg is always special for us, of course, our home race, where family and friends are coming to watch us racing. And for me personally, also a very emotional weekend, because I remember in my childhood I always came here to the old Österreich ring, and later on the development to the A1 ring, and finally to Red Bull ring. So it's amazing, the whole platform, the scenery, everything that Spielberg has to offer is, I think, unique.
That was Robert Lechner, for everyone who, I think you can guess, is the team principal of Lechner Racing, everybody, as well. Great to hear from him, giving us a bit of a history lesson. Wow, we're getting a history lesson from someone that isn't Joshua Birch. Goodness me. Incredible. Okay, let's review it back. Let's take a look at a replay. And he was all over the sausage curb. Has there been a Porsche Supercup round which we've not mentioned sausage curbs? Which, to be fair, even before we had just mentioned it in the way that she did earlier on in the season, sausage curbs were always talked about in the Porsche Supercup due to how much these drivers love riding it. It it is the line of choice. It is the line that you need as well, can I just add. So they make their way through, and we will make our way through to the end of the session. So the Michelin tyre is being changed down at Lechner on the car of Robert DeHaan, and you've got Marvin Klin to the side as well. The team down there assessing and waiting for the right time to head back out onto the circuit. Huub van Eindhoven is currently finding himself running a tenth away off the pace. He's the driver who's fourth in the championship. Has had 2 fourth places. That was at Monaco in Spain. And then he had a 6th to start the season at Imola. That is the kind of consistent stuff that you'll need across this championship. To be in the points every single round. And that might be our deciding factor in terms of who becomes our world champion of the Porsche Supercup by the end of it. Klin gets rolled backwards as he gets ready to put his foot down and go back out onto the circuit. The way they're kind of laid out, where they have to park this way, so they get pushed into the fast lane, which can be troublesome for the drivers arriving in behind, if you get what I mean. That is something that is difficult to manage and to handle as well. Onto the circuit we go then. Into turn number 3 we go. It has been an interesting session so far. It was about getting banker laps, now it's about getting proper laps, and it's now about getting the push in. The push laps that you need. That is what the interesting factor is in this session, as they battle over track position. And you've got Alexander Tauscher, who we had the pleasure of hearing from him earlier on. You now have the pleasure, if you are synced up with us, of going inside the cockpit and watching him behind the wheel. For anyone thinking a Porsche car would have the normal round steering wheel like you see in a normal car, of course, racing attributed, but no, not the case. They kind of have a similar shaped steering wheel to Formula 1. Unfortunately, I've not got the analysis to tell you every single detail of it, but from what I can see, guys, from what I can see, it looks a bit like an F1 steering wheel. It looks a bit like what we see in single-seaters, let's just say. I don't know what the buttons look like, but I'm telling you about the shape. So that's a bit of a lazy analysis for you there, coming from myself. But you know, I don't want to give you any assumptions of how it looks or how it does, or how it operates to too much of a degree, because you know, you need to hear it from experts. I think it's Gary Paffett who will be commentating alongside Chris McCarthy this weekend, so I'll let him explain a little bit, considering he specializes in this field of racing. So yeah, it's probably a good idea if I let him explain. Oh, I think we got a shot of a steering wheel momentarily. You can tell we're at this phase of the session where we're just absolutely joking around, waiting for these drivers to get out there and get some pushing in, which might be a good idea, guys. I don't think the viewers want to hear me too much just yap on about stuff that is irrelevant. I've not got anyone to talk to, so it's a little bit shocking how I managed to go off topic and it to lead us to this point when I'm alone. I've not got anyone. I'm just talking to air for the moment. I know I'm talking to you guys, but this isn't going out live, so it's like, it's a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad. I can't have any chat interaction with you guys. I feel alone for the moment, but if you guys can make sure that you let us know your thoughts in the comments below later on, you know, I'll still be looking at the live chat then. So if you can just make sure that I know that people are there. Right, okay. Marvin Klin. We mentioned his name in terms of being involved in 2 of the pileups so far this season. He was really happy to get the podium in Catalonia, but he'll want more than that. So Marvin Klin starts right now his run in 6th position. So his banker laps and his first run sees him in 6th, and he now starts this run currently running in 6th. So it's going to be interesting to find out and see what he's going to be able to do. It will be interesting to see how Mathis Jalbert will be able to fight his way around the circuit. Over the curb he goes. He's down by 0.3 of a second. So not a proper push. Not a push lap that will challenge the likes of our pole sitter. It is important. These next few laps are important because it decides how the order could go in case of a yellow, in case of a red. Because we're going to get to a point at some point. We're going to get to a point at some point. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Where if it gets too late, we won't be able to resume this session. So it's important to get your lap times in nice and early. Don't know what that noise is in the background momentarily, but we continue our way through. Jalbert, this won't be the push lap for him. He'll have to sit in behind for the moment. He backs out of it. He knows it. He'll bring it through turn 10 and we'll go once again down towards the first corner. Is he going to be able to do it this time by? Let's find out. Into the first turn. He climbs up to Niki Lauda curve. We're not going to be able to follow the full lap as we get to see a replay of what was going on in the previous lap. And some of the reasons why he had to abandon that run. This is Horst Felix Felbermeyer, who put 2 tyres into the gravel as he ran all the way to the edge of the racetrack. So heading into this run then, your order: Dehaan, Jalbert, Schuring, Van Lagen and Giretti. That is your top 5 at the moment. Klin is in 6th, he's inside a 10th. Then you find yourself getting to Huub van Eindhoven in 7th. Our opening pole sitter of the season and race winner is Theo Overhaus, he's in 8th. It's Havercourt in 9th. And in 10th position, we find ourselves with Keegan Masters. Lap time is deleted and thrown to the bottom of the field. As you can see, 12.7 seconds of the pace is Alexander Tauscher. Jalbert is improving in Sector 1. Jalbert is improving in Sector 2. And on the evidence of this run, it could be the fastest time because all he needs is 7 thousandths of a second. Okay, Mathis Jalbert comes across the line and goes quickest of all by 0.2 of a second. Marvin Klin, who's not had the best first sector, what can he do in the second and third? It's good enough to take it away. It's Klin. Tauscher, who had a lap time deleted, drops down, improves rather, up to second place I should say. And it's Jalbert in third. Dehaan's in fourth, who will need a reply. And it is Schuring in fifth. This is a replay of Huub van Eindhoven. He went off the road in a big way. The driver who's running in 7th position was off. Incredible. Incredible stuff there. As they make their way through. This is Theo Overhaus. Sending it through 9. Dipping a tyre into the gravel as well. The German driver. Didn't have a good Catalonia round at the Spanish Grand Prix in round 3. He was first at Imola, he was second at Monaco, and then all the way down in 9th in Spain. He's 5th right now in qualifying, that's the lap he's improved. Ariel Levy was a contender in the round of Imola as well, our season opener. And he wants to be a contender once again. He's coming out of the final corner then. The GP Elite driver comes across the line and misses out by 68 thousandths. It's Klin, then Levy, then Jalbert. Alexander Tauscher is down again. Tauscher's had a lap time deleted once more. So, he's had 2 good lap times. He's had 2 good lap times deleted. He has Ascona directly in front of him going off the road. This lap time, hopefully it'll count, and it's P6 for Alexander Tauscher. So Tauscher goes to 6th. Yannis Diak takes it away from his teammate and improves up to that place, the rookie driver. He's the second, of course, in the rookie championship. Frastante to 8th. Tauscher on the radio.
At the last warning of track limits. Last warning track limits. Please watch out.
Oh my word, he's had his lap time deleted again! Now that is surely a radio that came in. Yeah, so that wasn't a live radio. It came in a few moments ago. So we've had another lap time deleted for Tauscher once he's been told that. So that is not him. So that's not live. He was told that, and then it's been deleted. So it's been deleted after he was told. Well, that's unbelievable. Okay, Shearing has had a lap time deleted. Just like it was in Spain, it's another contest of waiting to see whose lap time counts, whose lap time gets deleted. Masters improves up to 6th. Their times are so close. You've got the top 22 separated by 9/10 of a second. It's Klin, Levy, Jalbert, Dehaan and Havercourt. Dehaan off into the gravel trap through the exit of turn 9. This is turn 10. This is him coming up towards the line. Robert Dehaan goes to the top of the table by 43 thousandths of a second. But my question is, will that lap time get deleted? Oh, he's going to get impeded. He's going to get impeded there. As we had one of our contenders on the racing line, that was Jacob Knoll. And they're fuming down at Lechner Racing. They know that might be a costly moment in this session. So Dehaan gets blocked into turn 1. Havercourt gets Van Eindhoven. Havercourt rather. It is Havercourt. Gets his lap time deleted. Shearing making his way through. Our pole sitter from Spain. Jaap van Lagen, the oldest driver in the field, goes to 13th. Shearing comes across the line, goes to 10th. So it's Shearing into P10. Van Eindhoven making his way down towards turn 9. It was a lap time which on the evidence of the second sector so far was half a tenth away from the benchmark of a 1 minute 31.027. Does he get the lap time to beat or get close? No, he doesn't improve. He lost time in the third sector. Burton goes ahead. You've got Overhouse, Burton, then Van Lagen. So you've got Proton Huber competition 12th, 14th and 15th now, because that gets ruined immediately by Havercourt. As I was completing that sentence. Seb Frymouth making his way down into the end of the lap. What is he going to be able to do? Is there anything left for Frymouth? It's Dehaan at the top of the table, but I wonder, will the lap time get deleted and promote Marvin Klin to pole position? I want to see a replay of that one. The checkered flag is flying at the end of this session. Dehaan comes into the pit lane. I don't know whether we're going to get confirmation. Surely that one will have to, I assume, even though he probably lost time, but it's like, surely a driver is not able to go into the gravel like that with all four wheels. That one will surely be deleted. Let's say from Dehaan.
Mate, you're on pole position. Pole position, mate. Yeah, boy.
Extraordinary. So they're gonna let that one. Okay, so they believe they've got it. Okay. I want to see another look because I was focused on other things at the time. I didn't pay much attention because I thought that lap time was going to be deleted there. I want to have another look at that. I want to be able to review that once more. It might be okay with the way they're acting. Yellow flag is flying on the circuit. It's in sector 14. What's gone wrong in sector 14, I wonder? Are we going to be able to see while they're celebrating down at Lechner? Deservingly so. Okay, I think that will count. I think it will count. I think maybe he must have had a tyre in. We'll be okay. Right, let's take a look at a replay. Okay, here we go. Does he keep it in? Does he keep it in? Yes. Yes, he keeps it in. That's everything. That is critical. That is deciding. Dehaan kept it in. And that is going to secure him. Unless there's any other investigations. That will secure Robert Dehaan. Pole position. And as we take a look at a replay of him getting out of the car into the hands of team. That one will surely count. That one will be okay. And it's Robert Dehaan for the second time this season who's done the job. He is our first repeat pole sitter this season. Our pole sitter for Monaco is going to be our pole sitter in Austria. Marvin Klin will go alongside him. It will be a Lechner front row. It'll be Ariel Levy in third and Matisse Jabber in fourth.
P2, great job, guys. Good job, guys, good job.
Good job indeed. I think it is fair to say. They've all done very well. I would like to know why we have the yellow flag out. Unless that's just unsure. But I can only assume either some oil or fluid, or is there a car stopped? I'm unsure. There is still drivers out there on the circuit. Ariel Levy?
I should have had pole. What a shame, but yeah, whatever.
He'll be gutted. But, I mean, it's a circuit where you can overtake. It means it is wide open tomorrow. It's going to be wide open tomorrow. I think that's the positive you can take from it. It's wide open tomorrow, at least. So everyone, do not worry one bit. It's close. It's in contention. It is to be contended in the Porsche Supercup. I love how they have a mini Porsche car. Which they have someone driving it. And I think they are taking something with it. I love how they've got that. I love how, and I mean, those things are usual. Those things are normal, but it's like they've actually made it look like a Porsche. Oh, incredible! A white liveried Porsche, brilliant. So everyone will clear up in the pit lane because the next on-track action that we have over here is practice 3 for Formula 1. Remember that this is in between the F3 and the FP3.
Roberto, well done in our home race for PWT Lechner Racing, and in front of a lot of Dutch fans, pole position. Well done, man.
Important to note is the team's home race. Lechner Racing's home race. We heard from Robert Lechner earlier on. He's seen the history, he's seen the change, he's seen the elevation, well, the evolution rather of the circuit. But he has definitely seen the elevation. I think it is fair to say as well, many times, because he's been coming here for years and years and years. And the circuit might look simple on a track map, but it's completely different if you take a look. And if you head there, the cameras, the TV cameras don't do this place justice in terms of the elevation. When you go there, when you do a track walk even, my word, you'll understand. You'll understand. Well, not even a track walk. Just if you go stand there, you'll see how much, and you will definitely not be doing a track run. I think it is fair to say for most people. I might be one of them, to be fair, on the evidence of that. Right. After all of that one, let's run you through our qualifying results. It's Dehan, it's Klin, it's Levy. That's your top 3. Jaber in 4th, Giretti's in 5th, Schuring, Masters, Borekamps, Stiak, and Hub van Eindhoven complete your top 10. The top 10, which is not separated by anything. They're all separated by 0.3 of a second. And then it's 3.5 tenths. Down to Frastante, who's in 11th. It's Overhouse, Burton, Jaap van Lagen, Michele Scona, Dirk Schuiten, Francesco Braschi, Jonas Greif, Cas Havercourt, Sebastian Framit. That is your second page of classification here in the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup. Framit being 0.7 of the pace. The field is very close. Tausch is in 21st. He had his lap time deleted once, then twice, then 3 times. Bertinelli in 22nd, then it's Deli Grant, Samir Shaheen, Frank Porter-Ruiz, Felbermeyer, Mason, Martinez, Pisani, who had a spin earlier on, Jacob Knoll, who got in the way of Robert Dehan. I wonder whether there will be any stewards inquiries on that one for the driver that ended in 30th position. And he's the last classified driver as well. Well, the steering mountains are all set, and they're all ready for Formula 1. As we see the display go on. As we see the drifting go on for the fans as they await Formula 1. Perfect stuff. Perfect way to end it, with some drifting noises of the Red Bull Ring as well. Well, it has been another exciting Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup qualifying. We want to thank absolutely everyone for watching the premiere. No more premiere tomorrow. We will be live for round 4 of the season as we approach the halfway mark of the Porsche Mobile 1 Supercup in 2025. Robert Dehan, Marvin Klin sharing the front row. Will it be fireworks? You're going to have to join us to find out when we hold our 4th race of the year.